Kalie Shorr. I'm from Portland, Maine, and I moved to Nashville when I was 18. I first decided I wanted to be a singer. Gosh, my mom always tells me it was 4 years old. I used to sit down with my whole family on the couch and I'd stand up on the coffee table and I would grab a hairbrush and sing along to Cheetah Girls playing in the background, and that was like what I would always do. And I think it's less a question of when did I decide I wanted to be a performer and more a question of did I ever not want to be one. I moved to Nashville in August of 2013. I rented an apartment that I never saw in person. I was just like, okay, Craigslist, I guess we're gonna do this. So I showed up and thankfully it wasn't terrifying. I didn't have a couch for like months in that apartment. So I had like 2 sleeping bags like pushed up against the wall, and I'd sit there and like put my laptop on an end table and just watch Netflix because I wasn't 21. I couldn't go do anything. I was so poor and I was like, all right. So things really started to get interesting for me when I became a part of Song Suffragettes. It's a weekly show in Nashville, all women, very supportive community, but just having a place every week to go play my songs. And before then, I was just playing them in my bedroom and like sending them to my mom and being like, what do you think?
I got my high heels on with my boxing gloves. I can knock you out with 1-2 punch.
My first real break of any kind was a song called Fight Like a Girl, and I released it December 31st of 2015, just hoping that, you know, people would hear it. It ended up getting picked up by SiriusXM The Highway, which had been on my to-do list for years. I always thought the first time I heard myself on the radio would be the best time, but I think the second time was better because I was like, oh my gosh, they're letting me stay on here for a second. It was played in the YouTube Country Spotlight to start out with, and then transitioned into being played on The Horizon, their new music show. And then one day, I found out it was a Highway Find.
Did I tell you that Fight Like a Girl was going to be the Highway Find?
No, no way, you And things just blew up. I got to play South by Southwest for the first time at Moody Theater, Austin City Limits, which is so cool. I got to go to a couple award shows, which was so fun. And like I got to shoot a video for Fight Like a Girl and see my face on CMT. I got to go out on the road and see people who knew the lyrics to Fight Like a Girl and meet so many fans. CMA Fest was crazy. I'd had like one show the year before and it was a shared show, and this past year in 2016 I had like 8 different appearances at a fan club party, which was so cool to just like meet all my fans and tell them how thankful I was, and I was so glad people showed up. That was also good. And then I signed a publishing deal, which was amazing. That had been a huge goal of mine since I moved to Nashville. I had the best year of my life. After hearing Fight Like a Girl on the radio, this amazingly talented producer in town, Aaron Esice, reached out to my publisher and was like, I love Kalie, I love what she does, I want to sit down with her. After quite a few little powwow sessions, we really got a good idea of what we wanted to do with this EP, and was like, I want this to say something, I want it to be cohesive, I want it to feel natural coming off Fight Like a Girl. 4 of the songs I co-wrote with some phenomenally talented writers in town, and the 5th song I surprised even myself and did a Bare Naked Ladies cover. Every demo I'd ever done, every recorded song I'd ever done was done to track or in someone's, you know, guest room, which is totally fine. But to go in a studio and have like Grammy-nominated musicians playing on my record was insane. They just really took it to another level, and they were so good at what they did. I was so happy to get a little bit of that on the project. And I really just wanted to continue to say things with my music, even if it's not as directly inspirational as Fight Like a Girl. I wanted everything to have this undertone of like positivity or relatability or girl power or just something I feel like I can really stand behind.